Sitting here asking if everybody can hear me, and I had myself muted.
Hello.
Hello. I was sitting here. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I had myself on mute. Like, what a ding-dong morning.
That's okay.
Well, I know everybody had talked about, let's do it 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4. And it's like, okay, are we talking about the meeting 1 to 4? Or are we talking about gaming 1 to 4? And like, well, we're talking about gaming on Sunday 1 to 4. So when are we set up for Saturday again? And I went back and I had to look at all of our notes that the meeting was set up for 3 and gaming to start at 4.
Yeah.
I got a couple extra hours. Everybody got a PowerPoint. And we had a bonus live on gamer terminology on the Crafters Guild. The kids were like, okay, well, what's the difference between video games and role-play games? So...
Oh, yeah, the joys of teaching young ones who have never had to learn how to play role play without videos.
Yes. Well, they're kind of excited about. They're not so much excited about Saturday's gaming.
Yeah.
Because everything's going to have to be imagination driven.
Mm-hmm.
You know, until we can start getting some schematics of the how am I sitting on my camera here? Everything got moved around this weekend because we had to pull everything out of the corner to put the propane heater in, and yeah.
Oh, I understand that.
So I'm still trying to get my room reorganized back the way it was, and I'm in this fucker.
Yeah.
So that takes up a ton of space.
We kind of got caught partly with our pants down. We had to, in November, we had to take out our deck, take out the old septic, which was underneath the deck in the back of the house, and put in a new one. We put the new one in further down away from the house. The original one was almost right up against the back of the older part of our house. Our house has the addition. So the addition makes this L shape where the north wind comes in and then swirls around that L. And the whole backside where the deck was is where our kitchen water pipes are.
Oh, that's no fun.
We hadn't had the money or the time to cover it properly. All we had was some Tyvek. So the rest of
we're in a
north part were fine, but we couldn't use our kitchen pipes.
Yeah, well, we're in a 7-year-old trailer, and he never got around to putting skirting on it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, where I had my raised gardens was nowhere near where all of our pipes were. So our pipes to outside broke first. And of course that took water away from everybody and, ended up draining the tank. And then when we lost power, the water well froze.
Yeah.
So he had to go out there with a blowtorch to heat the water up in the pipes out there.
Yeah.
So on our added to our list before next winter is putting a well house, an actual structure around the well, because this is the second or third time that we've had Mother Nature take out our well. When I first moved up here, we got hit with downdrafts. And there was big debates as to whether it was a tornado, whether it was a downdraft, or, what it was. And I had a set of patio, the heavy metal furniture with the glass, the thick glass top, and a canopy. And we found them on the other side of our trailer. The whale house is about 100 yards from the trailer, 150 yards from the trailer. That's where we found the table, was through the well house.
Wow.
Didn't didn't mess with the pump or the tank or anything, but it just totally took out 2 whole sides of the well.
Oh man.
I mean, it was like it had picked it up and just, it was like a child and just threw it down in a temper tantrum out there. And
oh yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, we've got an old barn that we demolished and we use for repurpose.
No.
But I'm gonna make this part fast so that we all can get on to discard and start gaming. Hopefully, I'm not sure if my stepkids are going to join us or not, but we're already streaming live on YouTube. Yes, we are in the great state of Texas. We are in the great frozen tundra. Words that we never thought we would use with the state of Texas. We've had the past week. We are stationed in Pipe Creek, Texas, but we do have members all over the state of Texas. And I think we had somebody up in Oklahoma ask to join us too, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. We do have members in Italy and Kenya as well. So while we try to have in-person stuff, we also like to keep it online because our greater family is all over the place. And we like everyone to be able to be invited. So this is our general crew meeting. We did decide that third Saturdays worked for everybody on having the online Zoom meeting. And if you notice, this month was a little bit different. If you're not a member of Space Station Requiem, Starfleet Command, or Guilds of Requiem, you no longer will have access to our Zoom meeting. You just get to watch it on YouTube. That's one of the benefits and perks of having joined Starfleet Command or having joined into the Guilds of Requiem network. When you join into one, you tend to join into both of them all at the same time. We do have several members who are just Guilds of Requiem, but not Starfleet Command. I'm working on changing that, one new member at a time.
Yeah.
Lady Desiree should be processing. The money came out of the account, and so she should be processing for another new member here shortly.
Yeah.
But our crew meetings will be at 3 p.m. via Zoom and televised on our YouTube channel. At 4 o'clock, we are going to say goodbye to everybody in the public world, and we created a server on Discord, and Saturday is going to be just for the Starfleet Command members only to game. Sunday, the Gamers Guild has open D&D gaming for anybody who wants to join in. We will be using the latest edition. I think it's 5th edition D&D.
Yes, it's 5th edition.
5th edition D&D now. Gosh, I feel old. There's also a wonderful website called D&D Beyond. We will accept characters from there. We will have posts to our campaign link because we do have a campaign that we run through D&D Beyond, and where we kind of will act as a clearinghouse of all of our NPC characters and all of our player characters and pretty much anybody who's involved. If you're not sure about your schedule, and I'll touch on this again. If you're not sure about your schedule on whether you're going to be able to regularly game with us or not, that's fine. Both scenarios have a ton of NPC, which is non-player characters, which I will hand over to somebody who may want to play just for that weekend. Maybe they've never played before and they want to see what it's like. So that's kind of what our NPCs will be about. Are people who've never gamed before, never role played before, but they're wanting to get their feet wet and see what it's like. So on to our meeting. What is Space Station Requiem? This is going to look familiar for a lot of people. I do try to pretty much reuse our information so it stays consistent throughout the year. And the only thing that really changes is what are we talking about? Who are we talking? Is there something specific coming up? So on the agenda, we're going to kind of reiterate what we talked about at our senior staff meeting. Once we got all of Starfleet Command's input, we got all the senior staff meeting. Everybody who is interested in being a senior staff, they were able to ask a bunch of their questions with Starfleet being there. If there is a particular department of Starfleet that you would like us to invite to our meetings, please let us know. We've got the Marines, we have the Academy, we have membership processing, there's Nova News. So if anybody wants to brush up on their typing skills, they'll gladly take any articles from us. Just more ways to get the chapter out there. So the kind of two things that we went over is how are we tied to Guilds of Requiem and how are we tied to Starfleet Command? Does one cause issues with the other, or are we working in harmonious union? I'm going to talk about what our command structure is for our organization, who qualifies to be a senior staff member, and then kind of go over rank. What do we mean when we say somebody has rank? How do they earn rank? How do I display my rank when I'm dressing up? So we'll go over some of those as well. And then we'll touch on our events for this year, which is BantuckyCon, October 23rd of 2021. Location is to be determined yet. How our monthly meeting works and when it is. And that also includes our online gaming sessions at the same time. So, Space Station Requiem. In the real world, we are a multi-genre fan club that is situated in the hill country of Texas. As such, we kind of made our motto that we are the gateway to fandom, or gateway to adventure. I think that's what our motto is, gateway to adventure. Our primary parent organization is Guilds of Requiem Incorporated. It is a nonprofit networking group geared towards crafters, producers, tradesmen, small businesses, educational, homeschooling. We are all about trying to create a network and how can we share skills and share knowledge. It is placed under our Crafters Guild of Requiem, which houses our Gamers Guild. They are our volunteer and activity coordinators. Plus, they are the hosts, the official hosts of the BantuckyCon. So we broke ourselves down into 7 main departments. Crafters department is the main one. Gamers Guild is a sub-department of it, a sub-department of Crafters Guild. So we have, try to have some sort of structure. Kind of makes sense on sometimes, other times, I'm really not sure that this makes sense being in this department, but we're going to make it work the best that we can. So we are primarily affiliated with Starfleet Command. That is so that everyone has somewhere to enjoy membership in an international fan club, and it helps create a bigger sense of community versus just us trying to be by ourselves in the hill country. I certainly would not have connected with Jeff. Heather, I know you and I have known each other for ages. But, I came from Starfleet International. We have 501st membership. We have Klingon Assault Guard membership. We have some Royal Manicore people. I found an old membership that I had to Space 1999 and to the Buck Rogers fan club from when I was a kid. So that kind of, I guess it still carried on. So where are we in the fictional universe? That's the biggest question I get is, so if I want to get a Starfleet uniform, which era do I need to get? Well, we've designed our own. Where we are in the universe is our own universe. So the only canon that we have is what we all agree to is legitimate in our universe. That does mean that you all get to deal with my crazy and demented mind and how badly can I beat up my characters and my in my games. But that also does mean that I do take very meticulous notes. I do create very meticulous notes for referring back to because I've been dreaming of Space Station Requiem. I think it was around the mid 1990s. Is when I first asked, why isn't there just a basic fan club out there? And then, I kind of picked and choose which clubs I wanted to be involved in, how greatly I wanted to be involved with them. I married somebody in a Star Trek fan club. We had a big Star Trek wedding. I had both of the first 2 children born into that chapter. So I've been doing this a while. And when we decided to leave Starfleet International, we looked for somewhere, how can we take care of ourselves? And so we went with Starfleet Command, but it allows us to also have our own universe. We are constructed as a sentinel to an interdimensional rift in space. Originally, it was the Draconis Nebula, which is near the worlds of Aelos and Troyes in the Star Trek universe. So we do try to use actual real-world markers, real canon markers on where things are. But as for event-wise, we might touch on some event, but you'll find that they happen differently. Like in our world, the Vulcans and the Romulans never separated ways. They never learned to harness their emotions, how to control their emotions. So that's a spoiler alert right there. But we had to put it on, we put it on one near the worlds of Alas and Troyes, so that kind of gives like an interment domain as to who is actually running the space station outside of the Starfleet and the Confederation of Planets. So about this interdimensional rift in space, what it basically is it's a tear in time and space. It allows random things from different times and different spaces to come through, which means we have just opened our book completely to every single genre, fandom crossover out there that we can muster that seems reasonable. So the biggest thing is if they are just flying around in a plane on Earth, we're probably not going to see them. But if they've got a spaceship, then it stands to reason that they might come through the rift. So that's kind of one thing that I do ask people to keep in mind when they're trying to bring in a specific universe, fanverse into our storyline, is you got to make it conceivably possible that those people are there. Okay. So we do have our search and rescue squad, which is also our long distance members that are just in a generic deal, but they're called rift runners. They are the ones that whenever a ship comes through the rift, they're the ones that are set to go in and either do rescues, salvage operations, whatever they can do to help in the rift. We did get introduced to who our nemesis nemesis du jour is right now, and they're known as the Jadesh. Different genres known by different names. Some call them the Shadows. Some say it's the descendants of Cthulhu. But basically, they're the harbingers of death. They're pure evil that can infect a soul. Some might even say that they're a symbiont that takes over the host. So there's another spoiler. We did get introduced to the notion of shape-shifting dragon and humanoids, which is a nod to one of my favorite authors, Daniel Aronson, and the Vir Requiem and the Dragons of Requiem. I think I had my Requiem going before his Requiem came out, so I'm not really in copyright territory. Also, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing it to make money. So the duality of our membership. Well, first we have our Guilds of Requiem. We have a public group, which means anyone can join the community. You don't have to be a specific organization to join our public group. It helps us give a specialized department or guild to run specific features from the primary parent organization. Like I said, we're under the Crafters Guild because they're the curators of fun. They craft things, they have activities. So that's kind of helps us on who is in charge, our family hierarchy, corporation hierarchy. But it also helps us create community within our own community here. Why did we choose Starfleet Command? Well, we have access to a larger fandom of similar individuals. I have found that by far there's a large number of people in Starfleet Command who love more than just Star Trek. There's Star Trek, there's Star Wars, Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, you name it. There's a pretty good chance that they have a secondary fandom that comes pretty close to Star Trek. It also helps us give function and form to our organizational structure of how this chapter itself runs. And then it becomes a bonus for any longstanding members of Guilds of Requiem that we do. Any of our department heads that have been with us for a long time, we get them an annual membership. Once somebody has been a department head for 5 years, then we will pay for them to have a lifetime membership in Starfleet Command. Our leadership structure. The commanding officer of Space Station Requiem is also a member of Guilds of Requiem. This is very, very important because whoever is in command of Space Station Requiem needs to understand the duality of how our chapter works. That we report primarily to Guilds of Requiem, but we do have monthly reporting obligations to Starfleet Command, and we have a giant pool of people there in which we can recruit from. They do fall under the Gamers Guild of Requiem as the curators of fun. Our Crafters Guild and or the Resources Guild is the primary department depending on the skills of that guild master. I didn't feel right saying, hey, Mikey, by the way, you took over the Crafters Guild. Guess what? You get to have a science fiction fan club on top of it. I'm pretty sure she would have gone running from me at that time and called me a crazy, 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 crazy lady. And your volume is off, and I see you stuffing your face. Yeah. So as the exposito de facto head of the Resources Guild, I've opted that it is still staying under the Resources Guild until she's ready to kick the training wheels off and go on her own and feels more confident with how Starfleet Command works. For Starfleet Command, their leadership structure is a paramilitary in organization, meaning that they have a commanding officer, a second in command, and we use military ranks. The departments are based on the needs of the chapter and division of responsibility. Starfleet Command has told us what our departments are. Because of our storyline, we added in a few more, but I did have to classify them under an actual department that Starfleet Command has. But they also have a rank system that is designed to reward participation, which is really amazing. When people do things like take academy courses, or they are promoting the chapter on different social media, it makes it a lot easier for me to go out there and say, okay, this task is worth this many points, that task is worth that many points. I now have an idea of how participatory active someone is when it comes time to recommend for promotion. I now can come back and say, okay, Starfleet, I got this person I want to promote in officer's rank. This is what they've done. This is why they deserve it. And it helps add to the flair as well. So our senior staff structure. I've gone over this several times, and people are probably tired of it and blue to the face, but it never hurts to go over it again. So these are the departments all over on the right-hand side. These are the departments that Starfleet Command has set up, saying that these are the departments that somebody can join when they join your chapter. So we made everything we needed to have happen over here on the left side fall under one of these departments. So ultimately, the person in charge of every good decision made is the commander. There is an executive officer, but legally in the state of Texas under nonprofits, the president of a nonprofit chapter is ultimately responsible for what that chapter does, and unless otherwise written in the bylaws, is the only person who can enter a contract. That means that I can send somebody out to do research for me, to gather information on different locations and how much it costs, but I'm the one that has to sign the contract. Communications department, they're the one who lets everybody know what's Space Station Requiem about. We've got Jeff has got us set up on all the major social media accounts. That it now passes everything out. Hey, this is what makes our group so fun to be a part of, and why you should join us. Our engineering, that is our department for people who aren't quite sure what they want to do in the chapter, but they live within the greater San Antonio area and are considered local to us, which means that they're within 50 to 75 miles from us. So as with any space station, if you don't have engineers, you're not going anywhere. So they keep us going with the local general population. The Marines, they always have your back, so they have our back at the events. They help and make sure that the setup is going okay, help coordinate volunteers. They might do research and look for different locations for us to have events at. But ultimately, they're the ones who have our backs at events. Our medical, they keep an eye on our safety, and they know the local resources for community and charity work and events. There are a couple of national charities that Starfleet Command participates in, so that we are going to have to put that under science, because it's international. Whereas medical, I'm saying that somebody in medical is going to be familiar with the San Antonio area on where is somebody going to find a grocery store? How can they get in with a new doctor? Maybe somebody up in Dallas wants to be the medical person up there that has all the local resources for people in that area. So that's what we mean by medical. It's for local, knowing your local resources and knowing what your local charitable events are that you can participate or direct members to participate in. Operations. These are the people that we're asking to know it all about Starfleet Command. When we get new members coming in that, hey, how do I want somebody to direct them to an operations, to not that it's not that I don't want to help them, but sometimes I might be too busy to help them, or they may not feel like they want to bother me for whatever reason. I have had that several times where people say that I'm unapproachable, and that I'm, I've gotten called a lot of things as a boss, but unapproachable is probably the nicest word that somebody had felt as intimidating. Some of my employees at Halloween City felt I was intimidating. The fact that I dressed up as a pirate almost every single day may or may not have had something to do with that, but we're pretty sure that factored in there somewhere. So we want our operations department to be anybody in there who they know everything about Space Station Requiem, they know everything about Starfleet Command, and they know everything about Guilds of Requiem. They're going to be your go-to gurus for answering questions. So just like medical is local, science, they're going to help create a global community, basically hell-bent on doing good. This is our charities, this is our donations, this is things, where you don't have to be in one location to still participate. So like pop tabs for Ronald McDonald House. Any member anywhere can gather pop tabs for Ronald McDonald House, record how much it is, how much they're dropping off, when they dropped it off, get their little receipt, send that all to us, and you get points. You get promotion points. USS Masamoon, they are our Starfleet International sister chapter. They just recently helped at the Food Bank of San Antonio. So all of our members who are, belong to both groups, even though they were there as the USS Masamoon, they're still going to get promotional credit here. So if you volunteer where you live, just get us an information saying, hey, hey, did you know I volunteer 6 hours a week at the local food bank? Hey, did you know I volunteer 2 hours a week at the old folks home talking to them? We've had card writing campaigns. We've had toy drives where people gathered, kind of got their own little community to do a toy drive, and then we donated them to all the local law enforcement agencies, because whenever there's a traumatic event, the police officers try to have a stuffed animal in their trunk to give to the kids that are involved. And that's every major city in the United States has that program. Even a lot of the smaller townships have that program. So search and rescue, we aren't a chapter without all of our members counting. Basically anybody who is not in the greater San Antonio area, or it lives more than 50 to 75 miles away from Pipe Creek, Texas, that doesn't know which unit which department they want to be in, we put them in search and rescue. Security, they are our 411 on location. So security in the Marines, they have pretty much the same, almost the same parameters of their jobs for what each of those departments do. Security, those are the people that every time I worked as a security guard or as a police officer, it never failed. Somebody would ask, how do I get to the such and such place on highway, whatever and whatever? Because they'd see the security uniform and know that you're there to help. So that's kind of what our whole basis of security is there are people that are going to be familiar with the location where we're at and what surrounds it. Senior staffs, I broke it down to responsibilities and qualifications. Responsibilities are to keep track of the members in their department, which includes promotion points and contact information. They become a subject matter expert for the departmental duties. And I don't really ask, if you're in the science department, it's great if you've got a science background, but you don't have to have a science background to be in the science department. Does that make sense? I'm not going to fill our medical department all with medical people. It could just be somebody who is knowledgeable and willing to help a hand. You certainly don't need to be familiar with how security practices work to be in our security department. we'll teach you. But the department head does need to be familiar with everything that happens in their department and how it's done. They will have to take a departmental exam with Starfleet Academy, which is now online. If you have had your physical certificate more than 30 days, you can now go to the Starfleet Academy website and sign up for courses. And somebody who comes to me and says, I would like to be the senior staff member for this department, I'll go ahead and put you in that position provisionally. And then you have 90 days to show completion of your Starfleet Academy. There's 2 courses that have to be taken in Starfleet to be a senior officer. And that is the actual department you are running, plus the officer commands. So the other thing that we ask is that the senior staff member be actively involved with Space Station Requiem and Guilds of Requiem, because people are going to come to you asking for information about both. They're like, hey, I just joined Starfleet Command, so what does this mean to me in terms of being a member of Guilds of Requiem too? So we need you to need them to be knowledgeable in what happens with Guilds of Requiem. They're also going to be the ones that help us make recommendations for promotions, and that should be semi-annual, not biannual, because we're going to do promotions twice a year. That's in January and July. So that basically means that at our December meeting at the end of the month, that's when we'll have all of our promotions for the next month, or because we are on vacation in the month of January. So really the promotions are happening in the month of December and in July. That's 6 months apart. So if somebody gets promoted at the beginning of the year, then they're eligible to be promoted at the end of the year as well. It saves us from having to sit there and go, gosh darn, when did I submit that promotion again? When did it get approved again? Was there a reason they didn't approve it? Why didn't they approve it? It's going to make it easier for the senior staff in how we have to manage our paperwork, because we want this to remain fun for everybody. But if they're having to sit there and do paperwork every single month, we're not going to have a lot of people who want to be the senior staff members. Our other qualifications is that you be a member of Guilds of Requiem, or having been a project master of Guilds of Requiem. And I know that kind of feels daunting for some people, but we are very easygoing in Guilds of Requiem. We have so many niches and nooks and crannies of talent that needs to be added to our collective. Resistance is futile. Everyone will get assimilated into Guilds of Requiem and Space Station Requiem eventually. But we want you to be familiar with how we work, and we've already had some proven leadership from you. You can be a member of Starfleet Command that has taken all the prerequisite courses deemed by Starfleet Command. Having this top one really is not that big of a deal. Being a member of Starfleet Command is the bigger deal. We do ask that you be able to communicate clearly and concisely. So that means you're working on a project, you're running late on the project. Hey, I'm running late on this project. Hey, I've got this come up, I've got that come up. Everybody so far has been really fantastic on letting us know that life has gotten in the way of fandom, and that happens. It's okay. We're all okay with that. I certainly understand what it's like to have life interrupt everything. Life interrupt life, as a matter of fact. We will have a quarterly senior staff meeting online. And we do that. Ask that you be an active participant and lead by example. Our whole goal of having a fan club is having people participate in online gaming, in our groups, on our website, wherever directions we want to go. The biggest thing is looking for participation and leading by example. So departmental reporting. Future meetings are going to occur on the last Saturday of every month. So will be April, July. Once we get closer to October, we may decide if we want to go, push it to the November 6th, because the Saturday before is when we have Nantucket Con. So we'll get there. But I will create a chat between all the senior staff members, and I am going to ask that everybody send an email to spacestationrequiem@gmail.com if you are interested in being a senior staff member. That way I can get it officially in writing from, that you're expressing interest. Future meetings, we'll have a departmental reporting. After our quarterly meeting, I'll ask one department every meeting to kind of speak up and tell us what's going on in your department. And I needed to change that because we kind of gave our department some direction. So our rank system, we follow the established rank system of Starfleet Command and Starfleet Marines. Rank is earned through participation. What do I mean by participation? Making posts in our public group. Great, easy way to do it. If you're going to make a post on your timeline, hashtag, Jeff, and I may have you create a post that has just all of our hashtags, because I know one of them's SSR, Space Station Requiem.
Yeah, I have two different groups. I have one for Space Station Requiem and one for Command.
Command, yeah. And I know the one that says Space Station Requiem and SSR, those I can click on them and I can track and I can see who's posting about it and where they're posting about it. And I can do that across any social media. I can also do that on Google. You can Google our hashtags and they should start popping up soon because they are populating on our pages, which means it pushes over to our website page. So we may want to look at our SEOs on the website and maybe add our hashtags to the Space Station Requiem page.
That they're used on all the social media. It's the same hashtags on all social media.
Okay. Would it be beneficial to put those hashtags on our SEO for that particular page, web page?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you want to make a note to do that the next time you're into the website, Jeff, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And then make a post about it saying, hey, we've updated our website. And if you've noticed our posts all have hashtags to it, this is an easy way for you to get credit because we do track who is posting our hashtag. And we open it up we have activities, we can have events, we can have awards, we can have like little competitions, posting competitions. And then I do use it at the end of the year when we come up on our membership nominations. It makes it real easy to go in there and click on it, and I can see everybody who's posted when and where. And we
do get those statistical.
The statistical and the analytics.
Every week I get statistics on which hashtags get used the most.
Does your statistics tell you who's using the hashtags?
No.
Okay. In Google and on Wix, there are a couple ways that you can track who actually uses hashtags on their social media and what the hashtag is.
Yeah, I have that.
And I think you can also go to the individual social media posts and click on it, and it shows everybody who's made a post with those hashtags.
Absolutely.
We did get hashtagged off of International Space Station again the other day.
Yes.
Yep. So I've got a friend who works with the International Space Station, and so he has kind of made it his mission to see how many times he can sneak it in there before somebody notices, and he gets in trouble. So it's been funny watching to see where it pops up because sometimes it's random places. Like somebody had one of their goofballs put Bernie Sanders floating out in space like he was doing a spacewalk with the mittens and the cold, and they hashtag Space Station Requiem on it. They had all their other hashtags, and then like in the middle of it was Space Station Requiem and a bunch more, and I'm just like, you guys are crazy, man.
I'll take it any way they do it.
Yeah, that's the way I am, because every time that happens, we get more people. And I do check to make sure that people answer the questions before they come into our public group. That is a security and safety measure. I'm not asking just to be, well, I am curious for one thing, because it helps create demographics and gives us an idea of what kind of information people would like to see. But at the same token, if somebody either doesn't answer it, or they've got one of those brand new profiles that's okay, not okay, not okay, not okay. you're not getting approved. I do check to make sure that profiles are of a certain age, and that it does look like a real person before I approve.
Are we getting a lot of members that have seen it on social media?
I've had 4 people apply that said that they've seen us elsewhere on social media, but one of those 4 people didn't answer any of the questions even after 24 hours. So I declined those. So I have no idea where you saw it.
Instagram's probably, besides Facebook, Instagram is our other big one because it gets members every day.
Yeah, I know we've been debating and discussing actual posting in our group on our webpage. And that's like www.guildsofrequiem.com/groups/space station Requiem. And I think there's hyphens in it. And that's if I remember the URL off the top of my head correctly. Probably not, but we do have a group on our Facebook that I'm almost wondering if it wouldn't be in our best interest to post there and then share from that group to the other social medias.
I'll look into it.
Okay. Because I do require membership onto our website. And when I get those requests for people to join our groups, I do verify that their IP address is not associated with any fraudulent activity before I approve them on the website. And that's about the only thing I can do is just check to make sure, pull their IP address and check their email and see if it comes up on any of the fraud alerts. I do have a couple IP addresses and people that, because of safety and continued issues, that I automatically decline, no matter how many incarnations of their name that they may be trying. They're not coming in. That's just all to it.
I'll research it.
Okay. So the other thing that you can get promotion points for is just taking Starfleet Academy courses. They do have some that are departmentally based. They also, I think they've done almost every single episode in syndication. Somebody watches an episode and then comes up with an exam for those episodes. And my mind is drawing a blank on what it's called, but there's a whole set of courses. They are working towards possibly having real life type courses, specific to the different ones. I don't know where that's gotten. Rex has taken the academy and just gone to town with it, man. So I'm really happy. I am also looking for promoting of the organization at appropriate opportunities. So that is utilizing our hashtags or promoting our group or promoting our website or promoting our page where it is appropriate. I did make the determination that I felt that if somebody was spamming our group information somewhere, like they're in a cooking group and all of a sudden they put, oh yeah, I'm a part of the Star Trek fan club. And here's our information. We don't, the club itself really doesn't have anything to do with cooking. I would consider that spam as a group owner. So I don't count those posts. So it has to be an appropriate opportunity. I am going to give extra promotion points for anybody who wants to assist on running a game on the Discord server. And I'm trying to wrap myself up here because we're 20 minutes to 4. How that's going to work on Saturday versus how it's different on Sunday. You can volunteer to run a meeting. It's super, super easy. I already have everything onto a PowerPoint. You just basically regurgitate everything that I've said. And then you add in anything new. You can create or run any activity that encourages participation. So earlier I was talking about having maybe some challenges of, who's using our hashtag the most, who's going to recruit more members into the public group, the different, anything that helps get people more active in our groups. And the biggest goal is keeping current and future members engaged. We want this to be a fun place for everybody to enjoy and to feel like they can express themselves. So once you've earned your rank, the question is now, how do I display my rank? So if you have a canon uniform, that's to say a uniform made by somebody else that is from a known series, known movie or whatever, we're considering those to be canon uniforms. So your original series, your Next Gen, your Voyager, your DS9, your Insurrections, your reboots, Discovery, Lower Decks. I feel like I'm missing a couple in there. Picard.
Discovery.
Yeah, I got Discovery. Picard. There's another new one that came out.
Yes.
And I don't remember what it was, but they kind of had a variant of the Starfleet uniform that I'm seeing Starfleet uniforming groups asking how do I make.
Janeway Prodigy.
Oh, the Janeway one? Yeah. The
Prodigy.
Yeah. So if somebody chooses to come in wearing one of those uniforms, or because that's what they already have, or maybe they're a part of another group, or they were another part of the group and they decided to join us, I am not going to tell them, no, you can't wear that. I know that we are all, counting pennies every month. I don't want to tell somebody you have to go out and buy a uniform just to participate in our physical events. So we have opened it up to, because we're on the Rift, that means all canon outfits, Starfleet uniforms, are able to be worn on our space station. I do have a mock-up of what our finished product is going to look like. I believe I stole that from engineering because Matt wanted the bright yellow so that they would be visible. But there's 2 tabs at the top of the jacket. And that's where we're going to have the rank is at the top of the jacket.
We got Liliac.
We got what?
Me and the girls, we got Liliac.
Liliac.
We debated on our color.
Hey, I kind of like that, medical and sciences chose the blues, chose to go through the whole gamut of greens. It kind of sucks for me because I know that this sweater turtleneck top of mine has 4 different shades of green to it. I see one. That is a challenge that I have, and that's why I really depended on everybody else to say, yeah, this is the color we want, because there's some of them when I'm sitting there going, no, that's the same color. And that's like, no, it's not, it's darker. I'm like, no, it's not, it's the same color. Why are we looking at the same color? We've already looked at that color. And he's like, babe, it's a darker color. Put your glasses on.
Well, when we were talking about our color, I was staring at the screen.
Like, I can't believe they want purple. Purple and pink? You're no, killing me, man.
They wanted pink at one point.
I wanted pink.
Nikki wanted the pink.
Yep. And I was like,
well, color but pink.
I could have made that work, because we have so many races where we don't know how they identify as a different gender, that when you're talking to them on a comm, and you see this, purple, oh, hey, I know that I can use the male pronouns. Oh, it's pink. I can use the female. What color is that? Yes, Commander. Sure, Lieutenant. Just keep it generic,
Oh, you won, Mickey.
Yeah. So, but I am glad that we finally were able to figure out, hey, what colors do we want to have? And I'll work on getting more mock-ups made up so that we can, when we go to work on the website and we put the different departments, we can actually put all of the different uniforms. I do actually have enough black uniform material, and I also have the blue material. Not saying that inspired my choices for colors for the commander, but it may have inspired my choices for the commander because I already buy from them quite frequently. And I can tell you right now, my postal lady really, really hates me when she sees orders from that fabric store, because none of them are light. They will send 10 bolts to a box.
So we're running short on time.
Yep. So once we start making them, that's what our finished one is. BantuckyCon, October 23rd, 10 a.m. to whenever. I'm looking for an outdoor location in Bandera County. That's kind of the whole play on being BantuckyCon. Same with Ren Fair of Bandera County. We had a lot of great suggestions in some surrounding counties. I am not going to do Area 51 Food Truck Park. They want way too much money. I would end up having to charge people to come in. I would have to double or triple what I charge vendors because I have to provide insurance for everybody for the entire event. And if any vendor doesn't have insurance, then I have to give them a rider policy on me. And so I was looking at almost $150 per vendor for one day. I can't afford that. We're a nonprofit organization. That's all it amounts to. So I am going to go check with the American Legion in Lake Hills. They're supposed to have a pretty nice setup with, and also the Civic Center in Lake Hills, where they help work with nonprofit organizations. So I might kind of see how that goes and everything else. But our theme is the Rednecks Inherited of the Earth, which is opening it all up for all fandoms, cosplay, paranormal, UFO, post-apocalypse, steampunk, science fiction, retro science fiction, you name it, because at the end of every apocalyptic movie, the rednecks are in charge. We are looking for volunteers to help organize, looking for other organizations to help fill volunteer roles. I would like an astronomy club to do the stargazing after dark. It is very challenging to run an event all day and then keep running all the way until midnight when your total working time is about an hour. I would like to have an acting troupe to liven up the Rocky Horror Picture Show after dark, depending on where we have it. If we have it at the American Legion, they have already told me that no, we cannot do the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but they will gladly take any other cult Halloween movie. Hocus Pocus was one that they threw out there. Nightmare Before Christmas was thrown out there. Frankenweenie was thrown out there, but they did not want to have Rocky Horror Picture Show at their location.
That is true.
If they need a Tim Curry fix, they can do The Worst Witch.
As past commander of American Legion here in Dallas, that's in most of the bylaws.
Yeah, it has to remain family friendly, and they just didn't think they could get Rocky Horror Picture Show to count as family friendly, even if Dad dresses up as Mom. She tried really different ways. I am looking for subject matter experts to help host panels throughout the day, and we're looking to provide entertainment. And our goal with anybody who does entertainment is they do get a free booth where they can set up and they can sell their merchandise at. And we do ask for at least 2 performances throughout the event to help keep things livened up and help with activities. We typically try to give vendors discounts if they're helping with activities. Other nonprofit organizations coming in, they obviously get a free booth because we're relying on them to help put the word out that we're there. Online events. Okay, I do have it right now. We're your gateway to adventure. I didn't realize I'd been signing off on my emails for 2 years like that, but I've been signing off on all my emails for 2 years like that. We do have a monthly Zoom meeting that's going to remain on the 3rd Saturday of the month. It is starting at 3 p.m. We were asked due to work schedules if we could make it later in the day. I have no problem with it. It just means I don't have to get up as early in the morning and haul butt trying to get stuff done because I didn't get to do it the rest of the week. Afterwards, we will have a gaming session, which is going to be closed on Saturday to just Space Station Requiem members on our Discord channel, and we can go as late as anybody wants to on that. From 1 until about 4 o'clock on Sundays is going to be opening up the fantasy world of Dungeons and Dragons. We do have our own Zoom meeting ID. Everybody got in here, so obviously you got the passcode. We are going to keep it this way going forward as a benefit and perk of having membership.
It's going to be the same password, same code, same
it's going to be the same meeting ID, same passcode every single month.
Okay.
The Gamers Guild of Requiem for right now, for the first 6 months, I will keep it open to anybody who wants to join it through our invite links. After that point, I will restrict it down to any new members have to be a member of Starfleet Command or Space Station Requiem via Guilds of Requiem.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that way it becomes another perk of actually putting that $14 into Starfleet. Actually, I think it's $12 for an individual now.
Yeah, it's 12.
Into Starfleet. You know, just anything to help out that parent organization. We tabled until January any discussion of there being local dues. I don't see. We might put a donate. All I can think of, Jeff, is we can put a donation button onto the website because we're nonprofit. I think I would rather just say, okay, put a listing of this is how much our website costs us and our social media, you know, this is our set cost for Guilds of Requiem altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just have a donation button, and then people can put if they want to earmark it for BantuckyCon, or if they want it for Ren Fair Bandera County, or they want it to see it go towards more activities with Space Station Requiem, or they can just leave it open for general usage.
Well,
I think that might be the way to go.
Email me the money amount.
Okay. I know we have a page called sponsors already on the website, but we can talk about it later. We can talk about it later versus in our meeting. Because that was the end of the meeting. How many are not into, oops, I'm going to turn off our.
You cut a lot out of what was there last time.
Yeah,